Narayana. Yatra comes from the root ya. Ya means to go. We're always going. We're driving, we're walking, we're thinking, but that doesn't mean we're on a yatra. We are going externally, but to be on a yatra, one has to move. In other words, one has to be moved. In all of our going, whatever we're doing externally, if we're being moved internally, if we have a thought to change, if we have a thought to grow, then that is called a yatra. And so all of the people who are with me right now, and we've just completed our Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra 6 this morning, all of the people who are with me, we did a lot of going. We traveled to a different mountain every day. We saw a different lake every day. A lot of going. But the purpose of this Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra is to be inspired. It is to want to be a better person, to grow. And all of our yatris, they invoke that, they evoke that, and now they're returning to their responsibilities to live with this movement within. And if you pause and think about yourself, you may not be here in Calgary with all of us, but aren't we all on a Jeevan yatra? From the time we were born to the time that this body dies, we are on a yatra. This is a perpetual yatra. And I'm not referring to going again. I'm talking about being moved. How does one know if they're fulfilling their Jeevan yatra? And try to tune into this because it actually determines whether we're living in a worthwhile way or not. We are fulfilling our Jeevan yatra if our body becomes more calm, if our mind becomes more quiet, and our intellect becomes more still. Those are the three ways to know that if whatever we're doing is part of our Jeevan yatra, if we're becoming calmer in body, quieter in mind, and stiller in intellect. And if we're not, then we're going, but we're not moving. This is a vacation and not a pilgrimage then. Ramayana is made up of two words. Ayana means path. Ayana means road. Ayana means the means. And Rama means joy. Independent peace. Rama comes from the root ram. Ram means to revel, to be in bliss. And I think I was joking last week that the spirit Ram has come from this word, Rama. We are trying to study and understand the Ayana to Rama. We're trying to understand and appreciate what is our path to independent joy. And not just Ramayana. This same terminology can be applied to Vedanta. Veda means knowledge, Antaha means inside. The knowledge of inside is joy. So you see, Vedanta and Ramayana are actually synonymous. And this is synonymous with yatra. And so the message is that every moment of ours must be meaningful. And I'll share some thoughts on why Sant Valmiki wrote the original Ramayana. But let's go back to what we studied last week. We are beginning our study of Vedanta and Ramayana with verses of invocation, verses of prayer. What Swami Swarupananda shares is that prayer is a way to understand and appreciate our potential. We think that prayer is towards another being, but prayer is actually releasing our potential. In Balakanda, which is the first chapter of Ramayana, there's 248 pages in Goswami Tulsidasji's Ramayana. Do you know what page Lord Rama will be born on? In the 135th page. So he has 135 pages of invocation and introduction before Lord Rama is even born. And we're all waiting for that, right? We're thinking, last week he wasn't born. He may be born this week. Hasten slowly. What our scriptures teach us is to be patient. You know that saying, patience is a virtue. And we all say it, and we're impatient with that, with that virtue. But how thoughtfully Goswami Tulsidasji, he writes so many verses on the higher before he even begins. And so what that teaches us is that we must never think, I do. We must never think, I am the doer. You know the word ahankara? Ahankara means ego. Broken down more, aham karomi iti ahankara. Or aham karoti iti ahankara. I'm doing, I'm going to do. And as long as there's doership, what comes with that? Deservership. Then I'm always looking to deserve. Isn't it you and I are always seeking recognition? We're always seeking praise. We're always seeking acknowledgement. Even when we do very little, we're still looking for a lot. But in the culture of Ramayana and Vedanta, we are learning to be no one. As long as I'm trying to be someone, the focus is some. As long as I'm trying to be no one, the focus is one. I was sharing with our yatris yesterday some ideas on how to let go of external validation. Don't we all depend on external validation? People talking about how nice our clothes are, people talking about the schools that our kids go to, people talking about how fine our relationships are. That's all external validation. One of the points I had shared on how to let go of external validation is to focus on effort rather than excellence. As long as you reward for excellence, someone will be smarter, faster, stronger. But if you reward for effort, everyone can be great. And we can encourage other people to be great also. I do, I deserve is a very temporary way to live. It's a very immature way to live. And that's why right in the beginning, before Lord Rama is born, Goswami Tulsidasji is invoking the higher. When he himself is already so high, he still invokes the higher, saying that it's not me who has written this. It is actually Sant Valmiki who's written this. And what will Sant Valmiki write? It wasn't me, it was Lord Shiva who wrote this. This idea of I do never enters the mind of someone who's engaged in self-development. I'm going to share some more context to the study of Ramayana, and then we'll get into some more shlokas. Our Veda is written in the form of Prabhu Vakya. What does Prabhu mean? Lord. Prabhu means king. It is the words of the king. It is the words of command. It is Adesha. The Veda is written in a form of Adesha. They're instructions. Now, do you and I like instructions? Do we like being told what to do? In one discourse, I was sharing this quote that many of you have heard. To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And to be late is to not care at all. So I was speaking about this in one discourse, and then I was driving back with someone who was driving me to their home. And he was telling me, not telling me, but still telling me. He says, you know, people just aren't going to come on time. There's no point in talking about coming on time. He was deeply offended that I was speaking philosophically about being punctual. See, people don't like being told what to do. And I'm always reminded of what Guruji says about growing older. Here's some insights about growing older, okay? How do you know if you're old? You know if you're old if you and your teeth sleep in different places. Then you know that you're getting older. Or being older is when you have the answers to everything, but nobody ever asks you anything. So many times we have people who tell us what to do and we don't like it. And when we don't like it, we don't listen to it. That's why there's very few students of pure Advaita Vedanta. Those who are ready to be disciplined when it comes to courses. Those who are ready to live in the ashram. And our rishis knew this. So they took the Veda and they transformed this into Ramayana. Ramayana is not written in Prabhu Vakya, it's written in Suhrid Vakya. What does Suhrid mean? Suhrid means friend. Suhrid more deeply means, Hrid means heart. Su means good-hearted or large-hearted. Ramayana's a large-hearted teaching, and that's why it's not called Adesha, it's called Upadesha. It's not instruction, it's advice, guidance. Ramayana's guiding us to Rama. In the Veda, we are taught dharma. In Ramayana, that dharma is demonstrated. Veda, do this, don't do this. Ramayana, it's not do or don't. Lord Rama shows us what we should do and what we shouldn't. What does WWW stand for? World Wide Web. Why are you saying this so nervously? You all know this. I like to think of WWW differently. It stands for, what would the wise do? What would the wise do? So whenever in doubt, don't ask Google, don't ask Facebook, ask, what would the wise do? What would Lord Rama decide in this circumstance? What would a rishi guide a disciple in this circumstance? What would the wise do? Why was Ramayana written? When the suras, that is the selfless beings, were being defeated by asuras, the selfish beings, then they were aware enough to ask for help. You know what happens when we travel is that we don't know where we're going, but we never ask for help, correct? We just keep driving and driving and driving. And as long as we're by ourselves, we will admit that we're lost. But as soon as someone else is in the car, we will never admit that we're lost. And if we're lost, it's that person's fault, even though they did nothing. The asuras are people who never admitted to being wrong, never admitted to being lost. And the example of this is the Kauravas. The Kauravas had a lot of weaknesses. They were indulgent, they were greedy, they were harsh, but they never admitted it, and so they never sought help of Lord Krishna. Now the Pandavas also had weaknesses, correct? Arrogance, gambling, eating, the love for cooking and eating, but they admitted that they had these weaknesses and they always sought help of Lord Krishna. So in a particular period of time, the suras went to Lord Vishnu, saying that the asuras, Ravana, is becoming too strong. And Ravana means the one who makes the whole world cry. When Ravana was born, all of the donkeys were braying, all of the jackals were laughing. You know, those animals that tend to be more tamasic, they were happy. that one of their own has been born, that the world will be stronger with him. And see, our Vedanta students, you must tune into this. What did I say Rama was? Joy. Ravana, sorrow. When sorrow becomes too great in our lives, we should ask for help. We should seek guidance. Asking for help, surrendering, is not a form of weakness. That's a worldly way of looking at I surrender. In other words, I give up. But surrender in the field of self-development means I give up my limited power so I can assume great power. Lord Vishnu was so pleased with these suras, with Lord Brahma and Narada Muni and all of them, that they were asking for help. He said, I will come as Rama. I will come and I will support all of you who want to be happier by bringing joy. So Lord Vishnu manifested as Lord Rama. Okay? Now at the same time, all of the devatas, all of the suras, they also manifested. Who did Surya Bhagavan become? Jambavan. Sugriva, my apologies. Who did Lord Brahma become? Jambavan. Who did Vayu become? No, Vayu came in the form of sort of like Hanumanji, but I want to share specifically who Lord Shiva became. So Lord Shiva is BFFs with Lord Rama, with Lord Vishnu, sorry. They're best friends forever. And when I mean forever, I literally mean forever. They're even past time. So when Lord Shiva found out that Lord Vishnu was going to manifest as Lord Rama, then he said, I want to go too. Right? We can't be separate from each other. We need to spend time with each other. We're best friends. We have lifetimes of history together. So Lord Shiva said, I need to come and serve Lord Rama, but he's never going to let me serve as long as I'm a equal. I can't come as Nara, I have to come as Vanara. So he came as a monkey. Not as a man, he came as a monkey. So Lord Vishnu came as Lord Rama, Lord Shiva came as Hanumanji, the Veda came as Ramayana. You see how all of this is the same. And Sant Valmiki came as Goswami Tulsidas. Sant Valmiki wrote Ramayana because he felt his life was like a dry leaf that was being tossed around. Do you ever feel like that? You're just being tossed around. You're being pushed here, pulled here, move here, go here, eat this, buy this, talk to this person, forgive this person. Like a dried leaf that's being tossed around. And Sant Valmiki, he wasn't ready to succumb to such a life. So he thought and thought and thought about that being who is purpose, that being who has the most purpose, and that was Lord Rama. And by invoking Lord Rama, Goswami Tulsidas, he had the highest purpose, and he wanted to share this with people. So Valmiki Ramayana was written. Now we're studying Tulsi Ramayana because Valmiki ji, he didn't feel content with his Ramayana. Now think, such a beautiful scripture, I believe 24,000 verses on the highest ideal, and still he didn't feel content. And the reason he didn't feel content is because his Ramayana focused on dharma, but the maturation, the evolution of dharma is bhakti. And that's why he wrote Tulsi Ramayana, where the emphasis is not dharma, but the emphasis is devotion. So you see the consistencies here. Who did Lord Vishnu manifest as? Lord Rama. Not Rama. He's not your friend that you can call by his first name. He's the Lord of the universe. Sri Rama, Bhagwan Rama. We don't even call our own parents by their first name, correct? Lord Rama. And Lord Shiva manifested as Hanumanji. The Veda manifested as Ramayana. And Sant Valmiki manifested as Goswami Tulsirasji. And now all of them are manifesting in the form of our Vedanta in Ramayana course. Lord Rama is here. I hope you feel happier. In Portland, they're getting up so early to be there. In Niagara Falls, the room is dark, so people can close their eyes and they can sleep. See in Cleveland how comfortable their couches are over there. So happiness is there. Then we go to Hanumanji. What does Hanuman mean? Hanu means chin. Man means the one who has a chin. So Hanumanji is here also, correct? All of us. We are Hanuman, not Hanumanji. Then the Veda manifests as Ramayana. And surely, we're studying directly from Ramayana. And Sant Valmiki manifests as Goswami. Go means senses. Swami means the one who's the master of senses. And there's only one way where you can be a master of senses. Puja Swami Tej Ramayana shares, when the heart is full, what else is full? Your stomach. When your heart is full, your stomach is full. On our yatra, when we would go on our hikes, we would walk 12 to 15 kilometers a day, uphill and downhill. Our breakfast every day was one peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Our lunch every day was one cucumber and lettuce and cheese sandwich. And our dinner every day was some sort of combination of ramen noodles or veggie burgers or stir fry. And we ate this every day. And I told all of our yatris, I said, when you leave here, don't tell people about what you ate on the yatra. No one will want to come on the next yatra. But everyone was so happy eating those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yesterday, someone ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with cheese in it. By accident, cheese got put in there. And they happily ate that too. And it's because their hearts were full. They're lost in nature. So their needs came down. You and I can be called Goswami as well. We can be a master of our senses, but that means you have to be happy. As long as you're unhappy, we'll eat more, we'll sleep more, we'll drink more, we'll talk more. But once we start to become happy, we become independent. Purpose pulls performance. Purpose pulls for performance. What is your purpose in attending this course? What is your purpose tomorrow morning? What is your purpose of being in high school? What is your purpose of being in college? What is your purpose of working? What is your purpose of running errands? If we're not clear about our purpose, our performance becomes very doubtful. And what's amazing about Ramayana, this Ayana, this path to Lord Rama, is this purpose doesn't end with one lifetime. This purpose lasts lifetimes. It is the most demanding purpose, and it is the most rewarding purpose. Think about your life. How many goals you've achieved in your life, whether it's starting a business or having a family or buying a home or even setting up an ashram. And as soon as we do it, what do we do then? Now what? Isn't it? It's like kids that say, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We do the same thing. Now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? Take up the purpose of finding Rama inside of you. Finding what's inside of you. Vedanta. This is the purpose. Vedanta in Ramayana is how to live. And we'll continue with Sloka 2 of this first chapter, Balakanda. And this is a famous shloka that all of you have heard before. You may know it. I'll chant each quarter. You try to repeat this. And I know you don't have a text, some of you may. So listen carefully and repeat. Bhavani Shankaro Vande.
Bhavani Shankaro Vande.
Shraddha Vishwasa Rupino.
Siddha Vishwasa Rupino.
Yapyam Vinana Pashyanti.
Yamyam Vinana Pashyanti.
Siddha Swantastamishwaram.
Siddha Swantam.
So what is shared in this shloka? Vande, we remember, we praise, we love Bhavani. Bhavani is Mother Parvati. And Shankara. And this is a solid name, Shankara, which I want to spend some time talking about. Shankara means auspicious. Shankara means egoless. Sham karoti iti Shankara. Remember I said ahankara, aham karoti, the one who always says I do, I do, I do. Shankara is sham karoti, the one who invokes egolessness, the one who evokes auspiciousness. Shankara is the one who makes all beautiful. If you think about how Lord Shiva looks, he takes all of the parts of the world that you and I reject. Snakes, ashes, his ganas, whom we would call goblins, he takes all of them and accepts them wholeheartedly, like a suhrit, like a large-hearted person, and he makes them all beautiful. Don't you and I now take ash and we put it on our forehead, we rub it on our arms? Isn't it that we have certain mandirs where we worship snakes? Don't we praise Ganesha, the Isha of the Ganas? It's because of Lord Shiva. And if you look at Lord Shiva's head, he has a crooked moon that's there. And even that crooked moon becomes shh. Just leave it. That crooked moon becomes beautiful because of Lord Shiva's presence. And what's compared here is that a guru, like Lord Shiva, she makes even the impurities of the shishya beautiful. Isn't it? When you walk with Puja Swami Ramayana, don't you get photographed as well? Aren't you posted on Facebook as well? That's what the guru does for us. That's what Bhagwan does for all of nature. And Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva are of the form of faith and trust. Faith and trust. I've asked this so many times, but I must ask it again because it's a reality check for us. By a show of hands, how many of you believe in God? How many of you believe in Bhagwan? By a show of hands. Okay. Next question. How many of you have faith in Bhagwan? Have faith in God? Okay. Next question. How many of you this past week have experienced some sort of worry? By show of hands. Some sort of worry. Financially, socially, academically. Okay. By show of hands, how many of you have experienced some sort of fear this past week? Safety, a loved one, whatever. See the dichotomy. You all had your hand up for having faith in God, yet the same faithful people have worry in their lives. The same faithful people have fear in their lives. How can you have faith in the all-pervading, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, and still worry about your kids? And still have fear that tomorrow will not work out? To learn any subject, and specifically self-development, we need belief, faith, and trust. In that order. Belief comes first. Belief is intellectual. But the belief has to evolve from the head to the heart through faith. This is when we start thinking about the subject more. We start making it our own more. We grow up from believers to those who are faithful. And you grow up from faith to trust through experience. And that comes through nididhyasana. To trust in the all-pervading. For those who are married, when you first got married, you simply believed in your spouse. You probably had separate bank accounts. You were resistant to share the passwords to your email accounts, your phones, etc. But then slowly faith grew. By thinking about them more and their intention, you shared a bank account, you shared passwords. But then through experience, you grew up to trust your spouse. You trusted them with bringing another being into the world. You trust them with making decisions for the family. If you want to learn, we have to start with belief, evolve to faith, and then this rises to trust. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita says the same, where Lord Krishna shares, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one with faith gains knowledge. And you know what he shares after that? He says the one who has doubts doesn't get anything in this world and doesn't get anything in the next world. If you go to the tap that's near you and try to fill water, but you doubt the cleanliness of that water, then you're always going to be thirsty, right? But you have faith in the tap behind you, because faith is how we live in this world. But now we have to raise that faith to our inner world too, to self-development. In this one shloka, what Goswami Ji is trying to teach us is how to live. Not just with belief, but with faith. Think more. Guruji always jokes that you can go a few minutes without air. You can go a few hours without water. You can go a few days without food. And you can go forever without thinking. Isn't it? We just go, but we don't move. Okay, let's study another shloka. This is shloka 7, which is on my page 2. So we talked about how to live. Now we're going to talk about how to learn. Okay? Goswami Ji shares right in the beginning of Balakanda why he wrote Ramayana. Why did Sant Valmiki write Ramayana? Because he felt like a dry leaf that's being tossed around. He had no purpose. So he invoked purpose and he wanted to share the same. Now, why did Goswami Ji write his Ramayana? This term comes many times. Swantaha Sukhaya. Swantaha Sukhaya. And these are really wonderful words. Kham, Kham, means space. Sukham, Brahman is considered as space because space has no end to it relatively. Brahman is the same way. So Sukham, good space, really means joy. You know, when you're in a tight space, like an RV, where 6 people are sleeping there, and if someone is making a lot of noise, then that means you have to stay up too. That's dukkham. That's bad space. That is sorrow. But when you have your own bed, your own room, that's sukham. That's good space. Antaha, inside. Swa antaha, my inside. So why did Goswami Ji write Ramayana? For his own happiness. He actually never wrote it for you and I. He wrote it for his own swasti, his own well-being. Whenever you and I do something, if you think about the way you're dressed right now, did you dress for yourself or did you dress for the people that are going to see you? Whenever you take photographs, do you take photographs for yourself or do you take photographs for others to see those photographs? See how our social media is all about others. I should look good for others. I should share quotes with others. Many times in our understanding marriage retreats, when I'm speaking and I see couples that are there, if I say something that applies to the wife, the husband will just keep staring at her, you know? He's talking to you right now. And I'll see the wife, she's much more subtle. She'll squeeze the hand of her husband. Pay attention, you know, this is about you. But rarely is someone like, yeah, that's for me, that's for me. See? We live for others. And in doing so, we never find sukha. I often share with people, the one who tries to please everyone is the least happy person. Isn't it? You know, whenever we're trying to make everyone like us, people start to dislike us then. Swantaha sukhaya. You and I should live for our growth. We should learn for our growth. Look after yourself. Only if you look after yourself can you learn to look after someone else. And Goswamiji, by writing this for himself, now look at us. He wrote this in the 16th century. 500 years later, we're still studying Ramayana. If you ask about Gita, who knows how old Gita is? Only when you make yourself full can you give. But as long as we feel incomplete, we have nothing to give people. That's why Gurudev says, you should keep your sorrow to yourself and rain down joy on others. What is our strategy? We think Gurudev was wrong. Rain down showers on sorrow on other and be happy doing so. This is what's happening. That's not how we should learn. So we talked about how to live. We talked about how to learn. We'll study another shloka about Bhagavan, about God. And this is so connected to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What is that dhyana shloka we chant? Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim. Here we have Muka hoi bachala pangu chadai giribara gahana. This is on page 2, the second shloka. Here, what Goswamiji says, grace, Bhagavan's presence, can make someone who doesn't know how to speak eloquent. Can make someone who doesn't know how to hike up a mountain, it can make them hike up a mountain. Making this more subjective. How many times have we studied in Vedanta that we should exhaust our vasanas? Tattva says, exhaust your vasanas. Vivekji, exhaust your vasanas. Can you and I exhaust vasanas? Is it possible? For every 2 vasanas we exhaust, don't we create another vasana? So we are exhausting vasanas, but there's always still some left. Making this more common. Sometimes when I'm offering discourses, someone will come to me afterwards and says, Vivekji, I'm a good person. I do good things. That's good enough. Why do I have to attend your satsang? And then they fold their hand like, okay, confrontation time. What do you have to say about this? If you want good happiness, then being good is good enough. Keep doing that. But if you want independent happiness, good is not good enough. You have to be extraordinary. You and I cannot exhaust all our vasanas. So you're clear. I'm saying you cannot exhaust all your vasanas. You finally have to reach a point where you disassociate from the vasanas. That's not exhausting them. They're still there, but you don't own them anymore. Okay? And that only comes through grace. Only Bhagavan can make us free. Donald Trump right now and the Republicans keep hammering Barack Obama and the Democrats about how many times Barack Obama used his executive authority to make dynamic changes to the government. I don't really know what any of that means, but I read about it. So I'm just going to use this in my example because the example will still work. See, only the president can do that. The governor can't do that. The mayor can't do that. I certainly can't do that. But the president can. The president can pardon a criminal, as an example. If you go back in the day to the kings could do whatever they want. We put them in that power. Bhagwan is the only presence that can free us. We need Bhagwan's Kripa. In this shloka, in this line, as we begin Vedanta and Ramayana, it's to always remember the presence of the Creator. In our Subhashitams, in words of wisdom, there's 4 types of grace that are needed for any achievement, outer or inner. Okay? 4 types of Kripa. The highest Kripa is called Ishvara Kripa, the grace of God. Ishvara Kripa is invoked by Shastra Kripa, the grace of the scriptures. Shastra Kripa is invoked by Acharya Kripa, the grace of our guide. Bhagwan's grace gets flowing when we study the science of self-development. This grace gets flowing when we develop a relationship with a guide who knows how to navigate the Shastra to lead us to Bhagwan. And what is the 4th type of Kripa? What is the 4th type of grace? Swakripa, your own grace. You have to initiate the flow of grace. Swakripa is through your efforts. You invoke the Acharya, the Shastra, the Ishvara. But as long as you're not working hard, nothing is possible. Guruji has always shared, there's no substitute to hard work. Every young adult thinks there is a substitute to hard work, but there isn't. Life teaches us that there's no substitute to hard work. If you want to be independently joyous, you have to wake up earlier than everyone else. You have to talk less than everyone else. You have to sleep earlier than everyone else. You have to be more patient than everyone else. There actually is no one else other than you. That type of grace we have to invoke. And we'll study one more part of invocation, so we're all aligned. We are studying the Veda, but in the form of Ramayana. Ramayana is the path to independent joy. To be joyous, we have to learn how to live. How should we live? We should live by having faith. And to learn how to live, we have to learn how to learn. And to learn, we have to do whatever we're doing for one's own self-development. Swanta Sukhaya. Now, to learn, we need the grace of God. And how do you invoke the grace of God? By working hard. And the one who can facilitate all of this is our Guru, our Sadguru. So there's many lines in Balakanda that share the greatness of the Guru, and I'm just going to highlight some of them. One is, our Sadguru teaches us how to see. And this seeing doesn't happen with our eyes, the seeing happens with our intellect. A few days ago, we were on a hike to Bald Hills, and on our way down, everyone was, the sadhana that was given to them was to visualize that they are actors in a movie. That everything that they see around them, everything they're experiencing is a movie, and they're actors. And as we were going through this, some of us looked into the corner and we saw a bear. There was a huge grizzly bear that was 50 meters away from us. And this is a massive mountain where there's endless trees and bushes and so on. But it was only when we were paying attention did we get to see that grizzly bear. And it was a very inspiring sight because we only see animals in cages, whether they're small cages or big cages. But to see a bear in the wild is awesome. In fact, where we were staying in Jasper, there was families of caribou that were sleeping beside us. Caribou were there, elk were there also, and they were speaking to each other. It's very liberating to see liberated animals. If we don't have guidance, we'll only use our eyes. But with guidance, we start to use our intellect. That's called vision. The guru teaches us how we should think. More important than what to think is how to think. Goswami Ji, he says that a Sadguru's only focus is to study and share. They don't focus on food. They don't focus on funds like the typical person. All they do is study and share. And with such a person whose focus is only that, they have so much to offer. The rest of us multitask, isn't it? What is the Sanskrit word for multitasking? Aviveka. Aviveka means someone who is indiscriminate, someone who doesn't know what's important. That's what multitasking is. But people who unitask, they know this is important, and then this is important, and then this is important. So if you study a Sadguru, what else do they do other than study and share? They're like experts in their particular field, right? We have attorneys who are experts in their field, and we have gardeners who are experts in their field. This person is an expert in their field. And the last thought I'll share here is, Goswami Ji says so thoughtfully that a Sadguru is like cotton. That's a really strange comparison. Sadguru is like cotton. We're like polyester. They're like cotton. Where does cotton come from? And people who have grown up here, we don't know where cotton comes from, but people who are from Bharat, you understand that cotton is ripped off of trees, stuffed in bags, then stretched out and whisked and cut and dyed. And then what happens to that cotton? We go to the local store and then we buy that cotton and we wear it to protect our bodies. We wear it to cover our weaknesses. That's what a Sadguru does. He or she protects us. He or she covers our own weaknesses. And that's why Goswami Ji says they are called Mahisura. Mahisura. I'm not saying Mahishasura, okay? I'm not saying that they're the buffalo demon. Mahisura. Mahi means earth. Sura means the kings of the earth. We chant Om Raja Di Rajaya Prasaya Sahine E. Out of all kings, my Sadguru is the greatest king. Madatma Sarva Bhudatma. Mannata Jagannatha. I told all of you this. You know where the word juggernaut comes from? Jagannatha. Really, go to the dictionary and look up juggernaut, and you'll find it comes from Jagannatha, the Lord of the universe. You all think I make these things up, but you should try. You should check for yourself. In our tradition, a king sits on his or her throne, and when the Kula Guru, when the guide for that king and the kingdom comes, that king gets off his or her throne and seats that Sadguru at that throne. And they sit underneath the Sadguru. That king is very aware the only reason they are that king is because of the presence of their Sadguru, who is actually an ambassador of Bhagwan. Goswami Ji is clear that he is not the doer. He is not the deserver. He is independently joyous. Oh.
Om.